I'm the only guy in the space, period. I've made a woman laugh till she peed on herself and then she wanted to go home with me. I've done that before, but I need to be organic and authentic when I go talk to a girl. I'm like, are you authentic? Do you take a picture of your shit every morning when you get up? No, because I was a dude who just got picked over by women. Like, women did not notice me. I was completely invisible.
All of this, do not edit this out. Keep all of this in the...
We actually don't know this guy, and I'm not entirely sure where we are right now.
So, use some chloroform, put them in a van, and now they're interviewing me. That's how it works. That's how you get on The Naked Truth.
Yeah, I'll get back on the pole.
I'm not going to find my boyfriend on a sugar daddy website.
Yeah. Then the 100 Man gangbang.
So my uncle subscribed and I had no idea it was him.
Yeah, I love multiple people.
No, I wanted him to be my cream pie scene.
Hence, I didn't know I had to get naked.
We just go together after we kiss all night in some nightclub.
Right, well, thank you so much for coming on your own set, but our show.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing for us.
Yeah.
Guys, we always do an introduction. So if you don't already know, I am Crystal. This is Tori. As you can clearly tell by the giant pink screens that are all around us, we're on The Naked Truth, and we are here with Michael.
Hey, well, thank you guys for having me, man. We had a really interesting time at ABN. I made a lot of videos. It was really cool.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? That's actually where we met you only a couple of days ago, and then we all ended up going out and partying, and they left us on the dance floor, and we made some pretty bad decisions.
Yes.
Well, that's because two people wanted me to make bad decisions with them. So that's why that happened. I did not have a choice there. That wasn't something where I couldn't have it.
Completely.
Yeah.
We just got lost in the casino.
Get lost?
For hours.
Dude, that is the Venetian is a very easy casino to get lost in.
We got fucked by the Venetian, and you did otherwise.
Yeah.
So I guess all the same boat. But I read through your, I should say, bio or your resume, which is extremely large, and you have a lot behind you, starting with the Air Force, which is so amazing. So I saw there was 7 years in the Air Force.
Yes.
And then you moved. Can you explain just a little bit there for me? So you did that. Were you in the social scene beforehand?
Yes. So from 2000 to 2004, I worked at a strip club as a DJ.
Oh, wow.
And then I was a manager at the end. And then I joined the military while I was working at the strip club. 9/11 happened. A lot of us tried to join. It took me about a year and a half to get in because I was going to be an aviator in the Air Force. That's a really hard job to get. And so I joined, and even when I was in the military, I would still host events as an MC at different places in San Antonio or Dallas, or different stuff like that. So that I was still in nightlife. And then in 2008, this is the first time I started going out in Atlanta, Georgia, and I met these club promoters, and I was like, yo, these are like fucking kids, and they've got like 17 girls following them into a nightclub, because this is the first point at which you can use social media to recruit people to go out to a party with you. And so now you started seeing these massive parties because of MySpace. Shout out to Tom Anderson from MySpace. He's a good friend of mine now. He came to my birthday, MySpace Tom. And so this is the first time where you would see that. And I noticed, I was like, you guys know I'm a dating relationship. I work on people's networking, communication, dating. That's what I do I'm a performance coach. And I would see all these other guys that were in this dating space, and their concepts were interesting theoretically, but in practice they were just stupid and they didn't work. And then I would watch some kid who was 21 who had like a perfect 10 girlfriend and like 6 other girls trying to sleep with him. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then I realized, and it's like people would call it promoter game, but it's not promoter game. It's just like having a cool social circle of people who like being around you. You don't. Whereas most men, I mean, you guys were at ABN, like the creepiness is on level fucking 95, right? A 1 to 10, it's like a 95 level of creepy, right? And then just like being the guy who's like, if I walked into ABN and I had like a bunch of beautiful girls with me and I never hit on any of them, the response that I get is so different than the guy who hits on girls when he sees them. So I'm watching these promoters back in 2008, and then I get out of the military in 2011, and then I end up moving out here in 2012. And the rest is history, man. I started throwing events and hosting events.
So moving out here quickly, Vegas, straight to Vegas.
Yeah, from Wichita, Kansas. So I was stationed. I flew a KC-135 as an instructor navigator, and then I did counterintelligence for 2 years. And the whole while I was still like pretty heavy in the Atlanta nightlife scene while I was doing that. And I was just kind of learning, because I was a dude who just got picked over by women. Like, women did not notice me. I was completely invisible. And I was just like, I wasn't angry. I was just like, I need to understand, what am I doing wrong? And why is it that when I tell a joke, nobody laughs, but when this other guy tells a joke, everybody laughs? Like, what's going on socially that's making this weird? So I just kind of made it I don't know, my goal for the last 26 years to figure out what that is. And I think I've gotten good enough at it.
I think so too.
Yeah. You do? Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand. I think,
Yes.
you know.
I think I've gotten good enough at it to where, I have 4,300 clients now, and we do, I have hundreds of testimonials, up all over the place. And these are by the way, these are high ticket clients. That not my low ticket clients is probably another 5,000 people. But that's the thing that I've been able to do, and I'm just trying to give back. And the problem is, if you hear my advice to men and you're thinking about like some just incredibly good looking guy from the Gold Coast who just runs through women, and you heard my advice, you'd be like, yo, that's terrible. You sound like a dip. You sound like a douchebag.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to Sandeep from New Delhi, who moved to the United States, is second generation, and he can't get a white woman to look at him twice.
Yeah.
That's who I'm looking. He's got string arms because he's a vegetarian. He's got a very, very weak voice and super low testosterone. That's the guy who I'm giving advice to because he's invisible, and I'm trying to make him visible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, from watching your clips, to be honest, and reading some of your work, I could see that. A lot of your advice I would actually kind of resonate. It's quite soft advice on how to get hard. So I could imagine you're not trying to get like Bradley Cooper over here and tell him how to pick up a chick.
No, but if I was Bradley Cooper, I would do nothing.
Yeah.
If I was Bradley Cooper, I'd be like, hey, I would have this massive charity event at some mansion that I rent. I would never do it at my house. I'd rent some massive mansion, and I'd have a charity where we're raising money to save greyhounds, or we're raising money to save all the cats in Los Angeles.
So you need to do.
That's all I do. And I would have an army of beautiful women that I'm just friends with, and that would get paid by promoters, and all they did was invite other females to it, and I would have 70,000 fucking women there, and I would not hit on any of them. That's what I would do if I was Bradley Cooper.
Thought about this a lot.
No. I have clients. I have one client. He makes $1 million a month. And you guys wouldn't know who he is, but anybody who's in the sales space, you would all know who this guy is. And he told me, he goes, I make $1 million a month. I'm 30 years old. He's like, I'm really I'm concerned that women are going to try to use me for my money. And I was like, here's what you do. You make friends with the 4 hottest girls in your city. You do not hit on them. If they have boyfriends, you're cool with their boyfriends. You don't do anything.
Yeah.
But you tell them, whenever we go out, I'm going to handle the bill. I'm going to handle dinner, and I'm going to handle the club. You're never going to see me pay for it, though. My assistant's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Your job, though, is when we go out, each one of you has to bring 2 girls with you. I'll pay for everything. I'll pay for our trip to Vegas, but you got to bring 2 girls. He did this one time. If I sound angry,
Yeah, you kind of do, but that's good.
he did this one time, and he met his fiance.
Okay.
And he called me a couple days ago thanking me again for helping him meet his fiance.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. This dude's making $1 million a month is going to come out to Vegas every month, and we're going to party. I was excited. He does it one time.
You stitched him up.
And meets his fiance, which of course I'm super happy for him. But it's like one of the I was like, no, dude, let's fucking party. Let's go out every week. And so that's essentially what happened. And I have another friend of mine. He created a television show. All of you would know this television show. He lives in a $50 million mansion in Bel Air. And he has the similar situation. Women are trying to use him for his money. And I told him the same thing. I'm like, I would just host massive charity events. And the other thing is pageants. I really think pageants are some of the greatest ways to meet women, because a lot of the women there, they're in shape. One of the problems that you guys don't have nearly as much in Australia that we have here in the United States is massive obesity. Horrible obesity, because we're the corn capital of the world. We can produce infinite corn to feed infinite cows and infinite chickens and infinite pigs, and then feed those infinite cows, chickens, and pigs to infinite people, and then infinite sodium, and then infinite high fructose corn syrup. And so we have 71% of our population is overweight and 41% is obese. Yeah. And so because of that, one of the things I do is I host a lot of swimsuit competitions and fitness competitions. And the reason why is because it promotes good health.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas some people that's pornography. I'm like, no, pornography is people fucking. that is good health. That is good health.
I can back that sentence up.
Yes.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, question, you've obviously taken your own advice. That's how you started this, yeah? So how bad were you at talking to women or not talking to women before it started working out for you?
I never had a problem hitting on women or creeping them out. I had a problem explaining myself too much.
Okay.
Like doing way too much of the talking.
Yep.
And then I just remember, I think it was the book that was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I read in 2009. And then there was another situation where I was just the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and how to make friends and influence people. I read these books, and they would talk. And one of the things I just tried was when I would go out on dates with girls, I would just make them talk about themselves the whole time. Holy shit, is that a cheat code? So there's this.
We do like to talk
Just
about
be
this.
silent and listen.
There's this incredible study in the UK where they have a bunch of people who are speed dating, and then they transcribe the date. So let's just say we're on a speed date, whatever. They put the recorder in between us. We have about 5 minutes to talk, and then we'll see whether or not we're going to go on a second date. So they record the date. Then they take all the dates, and then they transcribe them all, and they look for common words or common phrases to the ones that ended up on the second date.
Okay.
And the number one correlation was when a woman said me or I 7 times, then it led to a second date. If a man said me or I 7 times, nothing happened.
Is that because like he's not listening and he's just talking about himself, or is
No,
there
no.
like a reason behind
the
it?
woman, I'm sorry, the woman says me or I 7 times, then it led to a second date. If the man says me or
I
seven,
get you.
7 times, then it had no effect whatsoever. And so I just tried it for a while. I tried to do this thing, and I do this with my guests on my podcast. I try to get them to talk about themselves for hours. And when I started to do that, they either wanted to become really good friends with me, maybe they're in a relationship, or they wanted to go out with me because they felt like super comfortable. And so I just tried to transmute that to a bunch of other things on top of the fact I'm the only guy in this space. I'm the only guy in the space, period. I have videos from 2008. I'm the only guy in the space that was telling people a primary advice for dating is to become friends with hundreds of women. I'm the only guy. I mean, to this day, there's still like 1 or 2 other guys who say this, but I'm the main guy who was saying that. And so 2 of my closest friends are CJ Sparks and Kylie Myers. They're both playmates, and we would go out and I would do nothing.
Yeah.
I would just go out and I would have these 2 playmates with me, and we'd be sitting there, I'd be drinking water. I don't drink. And they'd be drinking whatever. And girls would just come up and start talking to us, and they'd be like, who the fuck is this guy
Yeah.
with these 2 girls? I'm like, all right, what's going on? And like, no matter what they do, I would never look at their boobs. I would never hit on them, nothing. I'd be like, oh, what's going on, bro? Yeah, we're all going to go eat somewhere. And the next thing you know, the girl's like, who the fuck is this dude with the Playboy models going to another party? Like, what is, like, it was so confusing.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things that happened to me is Kindly, who, again, she's one of my best friends. She lives in Nashville. Her and I have a friend in common who lives here. It's one of her best friends. And this girl's a model, huge model, really, really, really beautiful. And she's not my type, and I'm not her type, right? I just tell she's not attracted to me at all. And she saw me leaving a party with the girl I'm dating now, who you guys have met. And she went to Kindly and she goes, does he have a humongous penis or something? Like, how the fuck do I always see him with these hot girls? This doesn't make any sense to me. And he like never hits on anyone. Like, I don't understand. And so that's essentially what I try to teach, which is so counter to what everyone else teaches, which is to go up to the most beautiful woman and be like, you're pretty. I like you. Here's flowers.
Yeah, which doesn't work.
No, of course it doesn't work.
Doesn't work at all.
Oh my God. Oh, it's our first date. My last 3 girlfriends cheated on me. Wah. Oh, let me be vulnerable and tell you all about my life. I'm such a victim. Oh, that's the sound of everyone's vaginas drying up. Like when you say that shit, it's crazy. And so I start giving good advice. The more good advice I get, the more I piss people off.
I definitely back that, because I will say that me and Tori aren't really deep people anymore when it comes to connections with men. We don't really care for it at this point. And so like if I meet a really hot guy and he tells me all about his life and sentimental value and all that, I'm sort of like, cool, bro. Like, did you need me for this conversation? Because I'm not it. Like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go now. I want to go to a pub. I want to get drunk. I want to have fun. I want to dance. I want to be like that. I don't want to talk about your exes, your life, and where you're headed next. Not on the first date.
No.
No, of course.
Show me your fun before you show me anything else like that.
So I just literally a couple hours ago got off with a client. Now, I have clients, the 3 problem areas are Eastern Europe, my clients who are Indian, and my clients who are German. For some reason, they all think that they need to put on this fucking facade, or not facade. They like, well, I need to be organic and authentic when I go talk to a girl. I'm like, are you authentic? Do you take a picture of your shit every morning when you get up? No, then you're not being authentic. If you guys go to the gym with a new personal trainer, you hurt like shit. You know what's not authentic? Doing deadlifts. That sucks. I don't care. Those lunge split squats where you put the bar down and you do those lunges. Those suck so bad. There's nothing authentic about doing that, right? I tell this people all the time, if there's anything people who watch this take from this podcast, success is never authentic. I'm going to say it again. Success is never authentic. If success was authentic, who would be successful?
Exactly.
Everyone. Everyone would be successful. Right? There's a reason. Success requires you to overpay. And when you do so, you feel like a try-hard, you feel disingenuine, and you feel like not authentic. In order to succeed, you have to, if any of you have ever trained for a sales job, you have to like dig deep and like go after this guy's insecurities and make him cry and all this shit. And you're like, this is not authentic. But when you go for a job interview, do you wear your fucking favorite sweatsuit? No. You dress in a suit. Are you being authentic? Would you really be wearing a suit at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday normally? No. You're doing it for a job interview. There's no such thing as authentic.
100%.
Until you become one of my friends, then you get to see authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until if you're a woman and you have my child, then you get to see authentic. You get to see vulnerability. I'll cry holding my child. I'm not crying on our fucking first date. And me saying this, I get in so much shit, and there's so many podcasts people don't want me on. But what I'm saying is true, and I got 4,300 clients to prove it.
No, 100%.
So
Look,
true.
we very much agree. Like I said, we actually went over all of your clips and just started looking at all your stuff when we first met you to be like, okay, what is this conversation going to turn out like? And we kind of looked at each other and we're like,
We really
kind of agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We honestly,
We heavily agree with what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, we were saying that like you actually have a standpoint of like what a woman would think.
Yeah.
And that's
I try, yeah.
to be honest, to be completely honest with you, we did not think that.
No, I get that all the
Also,
time.
for looking at the
this
contagonist counsel,
constantly, yeah.
yes, is going to be, it might actually be quite, a dangerous.
Well, yeah, I mean, the
but-
first time we met you, you were almost pretty much, you were in a suit, you were looking jazzy, you were at the AVNs, and you invited us to dinner. You took us out to dinner with your partner, took us to bottle service, left us there with the alcohol and everything, and we were like, well, after you picked us up in your cyber truck, do you know what I mean? So, like, and then we watched your content, I was like, well, actually, yeah, okay, I fucking heavily agree with what this guy is saying. So
Very.
I enjoy it, and I also do agree in the way that you say you do have a lot of clients from India and Germany, and that because when I worked reception in brothels, I always, and I have spoken about this a million times, Indian men come in because they're trying to figure out how they talk to women.
Yes.
They don't know what to do, where to get their intimacy from, or how they do it.
Do you know that where that comes from?
Mm.
So a top Indian coach, and his name is Kshitij Kathar. I can't remember how to say his last name. Sorry, brother, if I said it wrong. But he was explaining to me, because in the caste system there's so much arranged marriage still. They lead the nation in arranged marriage. They also lead the nation. I'm sorry. They lead the world in arranged marriage. They also lead the world in spousal abuse. The reason why that is because if you grow up thinking that you get one free wife due to arranged marriages, then you have no necessity to work on game. In fact, there's no one to look around. Your mom and dad got together because their families agreed for them to get together. And whatever happened, whatever disagreements, they just kind of fucking worked it out after a while. And there's no divorce rate there. So because you saw that, then that's why you get the creepy guy on Instagram saying, I want to see Bob's and Vagine. Show me Bob's. Like, you see that shit over and over again. Because the guy is just completely uncalibrated.
Well, that's just not their social norm, is it? They
Yes.
they don't get one. Like, I mean, if their parents don't have those skills, they're not going to learn from watching their parents.
They do kind of understand the skills, they just don't know how to use them. Because I spoke to a lot of them that come into the brothels and will tell you why they're there, and they know there's a disconnect. So it's kind of cool to know that there are people that can come out and tell them how to do it, which leads me to say, when you hear other people giving relationship advice that you heavily disagree with, like you were saying, how does that make you feel? Like, do you ever get to have that sit-down conversation
so
where you
hard.
debate it?
Oh, one of the issues I have. So you guys know what a sales trainer is? Like, you can hire guys to teachers to sales. We go to a lot of sales trainer conferences, or we go to conferences where people try to help us level up our business. I probably spend $200,000 to $400,000 a year on a continuing education for my company. Whenever we go there, they put you in a table based on your revenue. So if you make very little revenue, you're far to the left from the speaker, and the middle is the middle, and the guy to the far right, they're the ones who make the most money. My company, we're always on the far right. We generally, as far as a dating company is concerned, like I was listening to Dating by Blaine. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. She was on Shark Tank talking about, we're the number one people in this space. I made $900,000 this year, and I was like, we did 5 times that our first year. How the fuck are you the number one person in this space?
Self-proclaimed.
It's so crazy. I was like, what, why are you lying? And this is ridiculous. Anyway, so when we go to those things, and what was the original question? Oh yeah, the bad advice. So we'll go to those things, and what'll happen a lot of times is other people will have leads come through their dating offer, whatever it is, right? And they'll say, one of the questions everyone asks is, are there any other offers you were considering? And the biggest offers is not Dating by Blaine. It's Marty Winggirl and it's Michael Sartain. These are the 2 biggest offers that you're going to get in the space, period. And we don't even, like, I don't even have that big of a social media following compared to them. But if you go look on Google search trends, I trump all those other people. And so what happens was, there's people that are guys that I know that are actually friends of mine. And they start making these videos where they're like, you see pictures like this, and it's a picture of me with 4 girls, and they scratch out my face. And they're like, don't post pictures like this because girls don't like it. And I'm like, I dated 2 of the girls in the fucking photo, dude. What do you mean? Like the girl on the right you've never dated anyone that hot in your entire life. What are you talking about? Why would you say this? And then he goes, well, you can post pictures like this if you're a dating coach or if you're a club promoter. I'm like, why'd you post a fucking picture? That's me. Why would you do that? That is so, and like, I thought we were friends. Why would you screw up our friendship by post? So what happens is a lot of guys, and they tend to be really good looking, like male model 10s. And they say, don't post pictures with women and don't have a bunch of female friends. Women think it's try hard and creepy. And I was like, yes, women do think it's try hard. And then they sleep with you. Like, that's the problem. The problem is this, like, almost all of my exes did not like me. When the girl that I'm seeing now, if you were to ask her when she first met me, I was nothing. I was invisible. Most of my ex before her, she's like, I hated you when I first met you. The idea that these guys have is like, well, the male model, he doesn't understand. Again, you guys watch basketball? And you know basketball is big in your country. Who is a more skilled player, the 7-foot player or the 6-foot player? Who's more skilled? Who do you think?
I didn't watch basketball.
Okay. Who's more skilled, Kobe or Shaq? Like, who's the big
Kobe.
giant? Yeah, right. Because he's smaller, he has to be more skilled. The less attractive guy has to have more skill. The male model doesn't have to have as much skill.
Yeah.
The male model is now giving dating advice for men to just be themselves. And like again, for me, if I sit there and I practice making you guys laugh, then I'm manipulating you. What the fuck? How am I manipulating you? That's crazy. Right? You remember we talked about being authentic? Well, here's a crazy idea. What if I host a podcast and I'm on episode 155 right now, and I host 19 hours of content on YouTube every week, and in doing so, I watch myself on camera, and I get a little bit better at talking on camera,
Yes.
and I get a little bit more charismatic. I become a better storyteller, and I even become funnier. Am I being authentic now? Am I being myself? But women seem to like it. So what is the truth here? And then I go to the gym, and before I couldn't, we'll use kilos here. Before I couldn't bench press 100 kilos, and now I can bench press 100 kilos, 10 reps.
Yes.
Now I can do that. Am I authentic now? No, that's my point. There is no such thing as being authentic, because here's the thing. I have one client, we were just talking to him today, and he's like, I don't like the fact that you post high status photos because I'm not looking for a woman who's looking for status. And I'm like, I'm out of curiosity. Do you like women who are physically attractive? And he's like, well, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, well, what if she had great energy, but she was really ugly? Would you like her? It's like, well, no. I was like, so you're saying you're only going to date women who are physically attractive? It's like, yeah, well, good, because women only date guys who have status. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. Women generally don't want to date men who can't bench press as much as them. I would be willing to bet that the two of you have never gone out with a guy who had more upper body muscle than you two. I almost guarantee that's the truth, right?
Facts.
And so that's my point. So it's like, hey, man, it's a lot of times, because it's not just status. It's like initially you look at someone, you say they're physically attractive. It's very shallow. We're monkeys. Like, it's very shallow. But then after a while, you get to know them. You take them from an unfamiliar environment, like you met them at AVN, to a familiar environment. You take them on stage at a fucking nightclub, and then they get to know you better. And it's way more fun. It's much easier to do that. And the guy who's less attractive does better in the familiar environment, whereas Chad and Tyrone do better on dating apps and doing cold approach in a nightclub. So now who's telling me I'm wrong? The male models. I'm like, bro, I'm not as good looking. And I'm straight up say, like, bro, I'm not as good looking as you. Of course I can't say the shit that you're saying. Like, and then they'll say, well, you know, those pictures, they look try hard and girls don't like them. I'm like, no, I have my clients, and they'll post, you guys have obviously seen the ostentatious pictures of me with a bunch of girls. I don't recommend guys do that. I'm running a business.
Yes.
There's some girls, but not like that many, not as many as me. It's ridiculous what I post. But the thing is, what the guys, whenever they post those things, they tell me the same three things. Number one, they're like, my ex-girlfriend's angry that I'm posting these photos. I'm like, didn't she cheat on you, bro? Like, who gives a fuck that she did? Why do you care?
Who cares about her?
Okay.
She should be blocked.
Yes. Number two, they'll tell me that the girls that I'm talking to now are all complaining about all the girls on my IG. And number three, they're like, I've never slept with this many beautiful women in my entire life. They'll tell me all three of those things. So,
you know.
yeah. So that's my point. It's like, so what the guy who's complaining, who's giving the bad dating advice, what is he missing? He's like talking to women, asking them what they find attractive. Of course, they're going to say they don't like a guy who's a player. You ask women, do you think loyalty is attractive in a man? And 99% of women will say, I think loyalty is attractive as a man. And then you ask them, do you know any women who've dated a guy who wasn't loyal? And all of them have, because being loyal isn't attractive. It's not. Being loyal is comfortable. If you're having a baby with a man, it's very good that he's loyal. But being attractive, it's not. when women say, what is the most attractive hobby that a man can have? You know what they say? Reading. Get the fuck out of here.
Never say that.
I say
Out of here.
what?
Reading?
Working and not coming home too often because I just want material objects.
But they're like reading. And I'm like, bro, you're like, I read 65 books a year. No one gives a shit that I read.
No one's ever sat down
No
on a
one.
first date and said,
No.
how many books have
Yes.
you read?
I've made a woman laugh till she peed on herself and then she wanted to go home with me. I've done that before, but I've never, ever had a girl be like, oh my God, you finished the whole Jack Ryan series? Jesus Christ, that's incredible. No one gives a shit.
I think it's crazy when women actually do lie on those sorts of statistics just to be like, oh, this is what maybe it should say.
So if they're not lying. So here's what's happening. Just imagine, like, if you try to explain to a fish what water is, he can't conceptualize of the fact that he's swimming in a medium. He just thinks that the world is the way that it is. If you try to explain to a woman, and I'm including you guys, like what you're attracted to is just feels organic and natural. Why are you attracted to the guy? You can make up a reason, but you're just a feeling.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then when I ask you why that reason is, then you say, he buys me flowers, he's good to his mother, he's loyal, he's kind, he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
But no, he's Chad Thundercock who has fucking tattoo sleeves and he sells steroids behind the bar, okay? That's like really who he is. But there's a part of you that doesn't want to say that.
Yeah.
So instead, what you say are things that make you feel comfortable. So when women say, I like a guy with a dad bod, get the fuck out of here. Nobody likes a guy with a dad bod. What you like, though, here's the thing. So there's this thing called sympathetic weight gain. So when women get pregnant, their partner has an excessive level of prolactin, and it causes him to gain weight. You'll see these like movie stars, their wives will get pregnant, and then they'll get super fucking fat and pasty. And women will be like, I like a dad bod. No, you like for a famous movie star who got you pregnant to get fat, because that's a sign of his testosterone levels dropping, so he's not going to go cheat on you. That's not attraction, though. That's comfort. And so when you ask women about attraction, they tell you what comfort is.
Yes.
By the way, men are just as bad. Like, men will be like, oh, they'll talk about success, or like, I don't simp on women. Like, yes, you do, dude. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. So, like, men are just as bad. But what I'm saying is, I don't listen to people tell me what they're attracted to. I just watch who they sleep with.
Yeah.
And from that's where I came up with my course.
Yeah. I
No,
guess
that's-
when people ask you, what's your type? It's a very hard question to answer. Don't you?
My least favorite thing is when someone says, what's your type? And you say blonde. I'm like, blonde is a feature. It's not a type. It doesn't make any sense to me. But we actually had someone on our podcast today, and we actually did statistics, didn't we? We're playing a little bit of a fun fact game. And all of them led to, attraction still trumps everything else.
Yes.
Looks trump everything else, including chemistry, smell, connection, like looks.
Well, I think the two of you have the ability to see past looks more than a man does. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what I mean is, like, a guy could be a 6 and funny as shit and has a better chance. I'm not saying a guy who's like hideously ugly, but a guy, like, he could do well. Whereas with a guy, if I see a woman I'm not attracted to, there's no way for her to talk her way into me being attracted to her. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, has my girlfriend had me go home with girls that weren't my type? Yes, but I love her, so I'll do whatever she says. But for the most part, I'm not going to become attracted to someone I'm not attracted to. Right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm pretty sure that's what it did say.
Yeah.
It said women can grow the attraction.
Yeah, it's wild.
So-
And then here's what happens. It, like, just like a mother who has a really ugly baby is like, oh my God, my baby's so beautiful. Women can retcon that their man is attractive. I had my ex, who's just stunningly beautiful, right? Who, by the way, looks like the girl I'm seeing now, almost exactly. Like, they're both really, really attractive. I remember my ex saying to me, she goes, oh my God, when you were 22, I would have dated you. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have pissed on me if I was on fire. You would have dated me? Shut up. That is so ridiculous. What is she doing, though? She's retroactive continuity. She's going back in her mind and saying, I find him attractive now because I'm sleeping with him and I get this oxytocin release. So I would have always been attracted to him. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case at all.
That's fair. Well, with this course that you have, I read that it's 40 days.
We can change you in 40 days. The course is 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can change. Now, do you remember the first guy or guys that came forward and said, hey, this actually worked for me?
Oh, that works
You
for me?
remember?
So it's kind of a rare thing here. I started coaching in 2008, and I coached from 2008 to 2019, so for 11 years for no money. I would get flown out to different places, and just because I like to speak on stage, they would have me at different places, and they would fly me out to different places, give me hotel rooms. Different companies would do that, and I was like, dude, free vacation. I don't give a shit. It was fun. I would bring girls with me. It was a lot of fun. Then in 2019, I started the company and started doing this, but I had already had a few hundred guys tell me that what I was doing was working. The 3 things that I did that were different initially was number one, I focused on logistics. You guys, like, I live next to the strip. The guys do not get this part. Well, again, you start dating a girl and she's like, let's move out to the country. Let's move out 45 minutes away. Why? Like, she's doing that because she doesn't want you to be around women. Like, fuck yeah. Let's build a big old picket fence around and get you a big old dog that has hip dysplasia that you have to take out to go piss every night so you can never talk to women. Let's go. Oh, it's so cheap. Let's 50 minutes away from the stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm going to live on the strip. I'm like, I'm on the strip. That's where I'm going to live. So number one was logistics. Number two is a lot of dating coaches up until recently did not use social media. In fact, currently dating coaches are relying way too much on dating apps, which I think are terrible. There's no reason for a young, attractive woman to be on a dating app unless she's trying to get guys to go down her Sex Panther or OnlyFans funnel.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, there's no reason for...
Yeah.
There's no reason. Again, she said, there is nothing in the world that requires less force than a woman getting sex. So like that's the second thing is like start using social media because it's infinitely scalable. You can generate attraction while you sleep and you can show high status with very low perceived effort. You're checking my stuff out. I'm not showing it to you. You discovered I had a Lamborghini. I didn't show you the keys. Yeah. And then the third thing is having a bunch of female teammates. Nobody got that before me. And they didn't understand. They were like, yeah, Michael, but you like secretly want to sleep with these girls. I'm like, no, I just really like being friends with a bunch of girls. So I put everyone in the friend zone when I meet them and then just kind of figure it out later, like who likes me and who does. Again, the girl I'm seeing now was 4 months before we started going out. She was seeing someone else like when I first met her and it was just, we were just friends or whatever. Her roommate had like made out with me a couple times, like nothing, like it was nothing going on. And then we got back and then she just got to a point where she just really wanted to go out with me. And she even told me, she's like, if my roommate wasn't so attracted to you, I wouldn't have noticed you. So that concept is called mate choice copying in humans or pre-selection. And this is something that men have a massive advantage in, and women actually don't have this advantage. If I find you attractive, I don't need the opinions of my friends. I don't give a shit. If my friends are like, she's ugly, I'm like, I don't care that you think she's ugly. I'm getting a boner now. She's attractive to me. That's good enough. For women, a lot of times they'll look at a guy who's moderately attractive and then see other women find him attractive, and then he gets a bonus. Now, it's not 100% bonus, but it's like there's some studies that show it's up to 30% more attractive. Yeah. There's one study that shows a man who he has no wedding ring and he's like talking, and then there's no study they superimpose a wedding ring on the same guy. He's 30% more attractive.
I know. I actually read something like that.
Yeah. So it's the wedding ring effect. And because of that, because that mate choice copying thing, now I can get Sandeep from New Delhi laid. I actually can get the 5'5" Filipino cashier. I can actually get him girls by doing that. And then it's so crazy when they show me the reports and nobody believes. Like I had a what's it called, a copywriter one time. He comes to me and he's writing. So if you hire a copywriter, what they do is they look at your course and then they write emails to send out email blasts to try to sell your course. And he was looking at my course and he was looking at my testimonials and he was like, yo, so I'm a copywriter and I'm like trained to like kind of lie and exaggerate. And he's like, I can't with you. Like that's a 5'4" Indian guy who's dating a super hot girl. I don't understand. Like, I don't even understand what I'm looking at, but I can't deny that it's there because I can see it. I don't know how, like, if I tell the truth about your program, no one's going to believe me. Like, and that's the problem that happens. So, because it works so fucking well. And so we did that for a while. And because of that, I was able to get, my job is not this. Dating apps and cold approach, going up to women in bars and clubs, that's for women who already like you. My program is for women who don't like you.
Yep.
That's the best way to explain it.
Interesting. And did you say you have 2 different tiers?
I have 3.
3 different tiers?
I have 3 tiers, and then I have a low ticket program for $27.
Okay. Wow. Can you tell me how much?
I can tell you when we go to dinner later, but I'm not going to tell you here.
Okay. No worries. Well, when did you know it was going to work out? When did you go, yeah, shit, this is going to be?
Yeah, the first month we made $100,000. I knew. Yeah, we had people lined up. So people have been asking me to make a program for 10 years before I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Are you consistently changing that program as you continue?
We add to it. We don't really change it.
Okay.
We add to it. I am eventually going to have a business offer. Basically, I'm going to teach people how to start a business.
Yep.
Grow from 0 to like 8 figures. But right now, look, we just keep adding more stuff to it. But because we have 5 3-hour calls per week, the guys get so much value.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to worry about it. You guys can come on a call sometimes. It's super fun.
Yeah,
I always let girls come on for free. Yeah. And it's when did I know it was going to work? I would probably say when I was on Facebook one day and I saw this guy running an ad and he was blatantly stealing every word I was saying. I was like, holy shit. And then the other thing that happened was this guy who was a friend of mine, I just mentioned this before, who's like a male model, starts making these videos like blatantly criticizing me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, we're taking all his clients. Oh, and that's when I kind of knew. And then the last sign was when we would go to the sales conferences and they would put us at the highest revenue table. And I'm like, really? We're making more money than all these other people? And I was like, yeah. They were explaining that to me. I think that's when I kind of understood that it would work. And the other thing that really helped is 1 month we just turned ads off. We just stopped running ads and we still made a lot of money. And so I was like, okay, this absolutely does work. And then probably the last thing is it's been 6 years, and I'll introduce you to a bunch of my clients who've been with me for 6 years. They've been every call for 6 years. And so I'm like, okay, then this probably does work. There's another issue that I've had is that I try to do competing brands with other people. Like I try to affiliate for them, and we always end up winning because our program is just, I have so many fucking testimonials that it's really hard to deny it. And there's the main thing that I try to express to people, it is not me. It has nothing to do, I am not special. The only reason why this works is because I've created a confluence of events where a girl who wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire is all of a sudden on stage watching Diplo with me, and I'm introducing her to like 3 celebrities she's never met before, and then I take her to have the greatest blueberry muffin she's ever had in her entire life in Las Vegas. I love dessert. You would know for the only reason I said blueberry muffin is because they stopped serving butter cake at 11 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll take her to some place like that, and she's just like blown away. And I was like, this isn't me. I'm not special.
Yeah.
This is just, there are mechanisms that actually generate attraction and that almost no other person in this space understands. And the reason why our guys understand it and other people don't is because we delved into what's called this concept called evolutionary psychology. It used to be called sociobiology back in the 1970s, and then these professors changed it to evolutionary psychology. Dr. David Buss, Lita Cosmides, Tubi, I forgot what his first name was. There's Stephen Stewart Williams, Jeffrey Miller, Cindy Meston. These people are evolutionary psychologists, and basically they study the innate differences between men and women and the proclivities that we had that caused us to breed. And that's all they do. So men have about 200% as much upper body strength and 50% as much lower body strength as women, right? Things like that. Men. So here's the thing. There's a really interesting statistic. When men are surveyed on how many sexual lifetime partners they want in their life, their average number would put them in the top 1% of women.
Oh, really?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So like most women aren't saying they want 20 lifetime sexual partners. Most women actually aren't. There's a ton of men who say they want 100.
Yeah.
So the 100 puts them at like what I'm saying is the average guy is Bonnie Blue.
Yeah.
Like what we think of Bonnie Blue as being like Bonnie Blue is like being this huge, like no, Bonnie Blue is easy. At least she's doing it for something.
Yeah.
Right. Like these guys would fuck a hot girl behind a dump. She doesn't even have to be hot. They'd fuck her behind a dumpster. They're just not picky at all.
No.
Right. That's a pretty big difference. Right.
Yeah.
Also things like grip strength. So like the average man's grip strength would put him in the top 2% of women. These like little differences between men and women. And so we started studying them from Dr. David Buss at UT Austin. He wrote several books on this, and we started studying those, and then we started putting them into the program, and they fit perfectly.
Yeah, right.
And they're very offensive. Do you know, here's one of the most offensive ones. Do you know that men who bully in high school have more sexual partners?
Really?
That's a really dangerous thing to know, isn't it?
That is.
You want to know what's even more dangerous? Women who get bullied in high school
Yeah.
have more sexual partners.
Yeah, right.
Here, ready?
Kind of see.
Men who get bullied in high school have fewer sexual partners.
I could see that.
Right, but
That's understandable.
we're just fucking hairless murder apes. Like, do you understand? Like, usually, like, oh, we're not like primates. Yeah, we are. That's what I'm talking about. Nobody wants to hear this, but it's really, really, we're basically hairless murder apes. And so by putting that in the program, that's where we kind of like started to get the more moderate, because before you guys were saying this could turn out to be a bad interview or whatever, because you probably seen some red pill content by people who are very acrimonious towards women.
100%.
Yes. And I'm not like that. So that's the thing. Why am I not like, so because of that, what happens is the moderate, the guy who lives in the UK who makes $400,000 a year as a doctor, who looks at red pill content and he's like, yo, this is way too, I agree with him. I agree with Myron Gaines. I agree with Andrew Tate, but I don't like the way he describes it.
Yeah.
And he sees my content and he goes, that's what I want, his shit,
Yeah.
his shit. He doesn't blame women for anything, and he uses science for all the stuff he does. So that's basically how I built my brand. And by the way, shout out to Myron and Andrew. I'm friends with both of them, but I don't talk like they talk.
Yeah, I can definitely see that when we went on and watched your clips and stuff. I was like, yeah, I can see that you're pretty much just telling the man everything rather than doing it while slandering women at the same time. So that makes it easier. But because you've now studied men for quite a while, I would also say you would have studied a lot of women then as well,
Mm-hmm.
and how we work. Would you ever cross that line into by making some sort of dating help for women?
So
Or
if I did, I would get in deep shit.
yeah,
So I'll tell you why. Do you guys know who Scott Galloway is? He's a professor at City. It doesn't matter. He's an economist. He just wrote a book recently. He goes on Oprah Winfrey. And on Oprah Winfrey, he's talking about the men falling behind and how there's a crisis when it comes to dating. Basically, there's a few guys getting all the dates. Dating has basically become Venezuela. And he has a conversation. There's a guy who asks him a question. And he goes, "What is it that why is it that I'm not able to find someone to date?" And he goes, "Look at yourself. Would you fuck you?" That's what he says to the guy. He says, "Would you fuck you? You really got to step up and do the stuff." Then this woman comes on. She's obese, and she goes, "Why can't I find anyone to date?" And of course, the response should be, "Would you fuck you?" But of course, he can't say that. He can't be on Oprah Winfrey and tell a woman, "Would you fuck you?" So what he says is, "Yeah, it's going to be hard for you. Yeah, these men just really need to step up. I know you make a lot of money." And I'm like, lose some fucking weight. Like, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
And now that is so offensive for me to say that. So if I was going to have, what is the dating advice I could give for women? I got news for you. I have hosted at this point 64 swimsuit competitions. 64. Do you know what happens with the girls in the top 10 of all of my swimsuit competitions? It's inevitable. At least half of them. You know what happens?
No.
Their boyfriends get down on a knee and offer to marry them.
Oh, really?
You just won a bikini competition for fucking 50 grand. Do you think he's going to do better than you? Like you have this woman who's she's amazing shape. She looks incredibly, his brain is like fertility. This woman is fertile.
Yeah.
She has an unbelievable body. I'm never going to do better than this. So I remember the first one I did, top 10, 5 of them were engaged or married by the next year. By the next year when we did it. And they're like, "Hey, are you coming to do the bikini competition?" Like, "No, I'm pregnant. Me and my husband are doing." It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I know that comes off as shallow, but like the number one thing I would tell women is just get in the best shape of your life and be as physically attractive as possible. I know it's fucking shallow. I know that's not the whole relationship, but in the beginning, you will have more to choose from and more leverage the more physically attractive you are. Again, not a problem for you guys because you're in Australia and they don't put high fructose corn syrup in everything you eat. They put high fructose corn syrup in the meat in this country. That's how sick it is. So you don't have that problem. But in this country, because of this massive level of obesity, that's one of the big issues. And the second thing I would say is do not confuse your career. So like this comes off as a double standard. My career makes me professionally viable and people ask me to go on podcasts, and it also makes me attractive to the opposite sex. Like there are women who would not have noticed me just because I get 6 million views a month. They wouldn't have noticed me before, and now they do. So they are the same thing. So I'm trying to think of an athlete that you got. Do you know who Tom Brady is?
Yes.
Okay. So Tom Brady plays quarterback and makes $50 million a year, and women find him attractive because he plays. So they're the same thing. Women find him attractive because he plays quarterback. If I have a female cardiologist, she's a professor at a university and she's the executive at a hospital. This is incredible what she's doing. She's a value to society, and she's 40 pounds overweight. They're not the same.
No.
What men find professionally viable and what they find sexually attractive are different for women, but they're the same for men. That would be the thing I would recognize as a woman. Your second master's degree or the business you started, the fact that you're killing it on TikTok Shop does not make men more horny for you. You got to get out of that mentality. And if you watch TikTok, you start believing, I am the prize. I am the table. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, it just doesn't work that way. When we think about it ancestrally, as a woman, so I always like to use 27,000 years ago because this is the point where Neanderthals went extinct, and we don't know why. But of course, we do know why. It's because humans raped them and ate them. That's exactly why the Neanderthals went extinct. Anthropologists are like, we don't know what happened to the Neanderthals. I'm like, have you seen Ukraine and Russia? What the fuck do you mean you don't know what happened to the Neanderthals? They ate them. What are you talking about? Anyway, I like to use 27,000 years ago because at that point there's no one but humans on the planet. About 1.7 million years ago, that's when hominids discovered fire, and they had their brains grew to be very, very big. So about 27,000 years ago, we're the only ones left on the planet. If you're a woman at that time, are you concerned with a man's physical features of attractiveness or whether or not he can hunt and kill and protect?
Yeah, whether he can.
And if he's the leader of the tribe, you just understand, in order for me and my offspring to survive, I need to be aligned with the man who's aligned with other powerful men. Make sense? His physical attractiveness is secondary to that.
Yeah.
Although the ridge of his brow and his jaw do show signs of masculinity and high testosterone, although it's 27,000 years ago. I don't know what testosterone is, but I do know I see the jaw, I see the muscles, I see the broad shoulders. And then when you survey women, 1.65 to 1 hip shoulder to waist ratio is what they find most attractive. They find masculinized features in men to be more attractive. They find a deeper voice to be more attractive. What are these? These are signs of these are androgynous signs of masculinity. Yeah. Is it androgynous? Maybe I said it incorrectly. But so these are signs of masculinity. If I'm a man and I'm around a bunch of women who aren't going to protect me, they're not going to, they can forage for food, but they're not going to protect me. They may help with the fortification, but probably not. And they're not going to help with the hunting. Do I need to worry so much about how broad her shoulders are? She doesn't have to protect me. But what do I need to worry about? I need to worry about whether or not she could carry my child. What are the ways for me to see that? It's facial symmetry, it's signs of youth, and it's hip to waist ratio. This is the craziest thing that they learned in evolutionary psychology. So when men are surveyed in different countries all over the world, they say, what hip to waist ratio do you find most attractive? They show them drawings or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's always, in every country, it's 0.868 to 0.72. The men say this in the Yanomamo tribe in Venezuela, and they say this when they're in Mexico, and they say this when they're in Paraguay, and they say this when they're in Ireland, they say this when they're in Iceland, they say this when they're in China. This 0.7 hip to waist ratio. This is crazy. When blind men are asked to haptically, with their hands, draw the hip to waist ratio that they find most attractive, blind men, meaning men who have never seen a woman in their life, they still show 0.7. That's good. They're blind. Ready? Here's the crazy part. Does anyone want to guess the hip to waist ratio that provides the highest level of fertility?
What is it?
It's 0.7. It's exactly the same number.
Well, there you go. Isn't that so interesting? Their brains wired that way to just know.
That's called evolutionary psychology. That's what evolutionary psychology. So men finding those things desirable. So what is that? Like, I remember Dr. Buss being like, well, one of the things that's changed over time is that men like women with bigger butts. But he goes, but the 0.7, he's like, men back in the 1920s didn't like an ass like Kim Kardashian, but the 0.7 hip to waist ratio is the same. Even Kim Kardashian has a 0.7 hip to waist ratio. So that's what men find attractive. So if you're going to look at that, I know it's really shallow and it's like, no, Michael, she's an Aries and he's a Libra and they should just get their star signs. And if she has great energy, then he's going to vibe with that and want to be with her. It's like, no, her boobs were big and she had green eyes, bro. I'm sorry. Sorry to tell you.
As simple as
Like,
it gets.
like the girl I'm seeing, she's pretty attractive.
Stunning.
She's
actually stunning.
She's stunning.
Because she's pretty attractive, I would have absolutely gone on dates with her, but I wouldn't date her seriously if it wasn't for things that were beyond surface level.
Yes.
Like she supports my business. She's really, really good partner in a lot of different ways. She's always got my back. But that is always got my back did not make me sexually attracted to her in the beginning. Does that make sense? But initially, if women are like, hey, I need dating advice, get as hot as you can. I'm sorry, nothing is going to trump. Here, let's play a game. You take a bunch of women and you tell them how that they should stand on their ground and tell them that they are the table and that they should have high standards. And I'm going to send a bunch of women over here to like fit camp. And then let's see who ends up with the men. Okay?
Yeah.
Got it? And then we'll do the other experiment. You take a bunch of men and you give them to Justin Baldoni or Chris Hitchens or Chris G.Q. Perry or Will Hitchens. These are like these panderers on fucking TikTok who say that everything's men's fault. You give them to them, and then they do the Sadia Khan, whoever. You give them to them, and you say, okay, you guys coach this 100 men to see if they can start dating the woman of their dreams, and then you give this other group of 100 men to me.
Yeah.
You give them to me. And when you give them to me, we're going to fix their fucking Instagram. When you give them to me and a girl ghosts them, they're going to post a video of them on stage at fucking Excess having a blast, even though they're not on stage. When you give them to me, they're always going to be the one to end the date. They're never going to sit there and keep trying to fuck the girl over and over again. When you give them to me, they're going to friend zone hundreds of women. You're going to go over there and tell these dudes, just be yours. You're so pretty. Oh my God. I was wondering if I could take you on a date. Fuck.
I love the accent.
I was going to say the accent change as well.
It's just so, like again, my offer is always the same. My offer is the same. It's like, hey, I'll tell you guys one. This is for real, okay? I'm hosting the FHM party in San Francisco for the Super Bowl next Thursday. Would you guys like to go?
We got invited already.
We're going to have your
Yes.
person that's
Yes.
sitting at the table, but we're in Australia.
No, what I'm saying is,
But
if I had asked you that and you couldn't go, would you still get my IG?
100%.
Of course.
Thank you. MOAmentoring.com. Let's get them a fucking affiliate code. Of course.
Just like,
Of course you would.
100%.
Of course. I mean,
Of course. So that's my point. And like, so because, and I still have this argument where guys are like, go up to her and just get dick to, just get put your hips right in front of her. Let her see your man to woman energy. Spin to win, insta fuck. I'm like, bro, are you crazy? Like, I wouldn't fuck. I don't even want to be around. It's not even if these dudes are creepy to women. I don't even want to be near them. They're so creepy. As a man, I find them creepy, you know?
But you must feel really good with how much conviction you can say, like, have behind what you're saying right now as well. Do you know? Because you know it actually works and you can prove it, so you can stand there and say these things and call people out name by name.
Yeah.
Saying,
Well, it's a combination of practice and caffeine.
Yeah.
That's it. The lots of caffeine on very little food. I can just go for hours. But it does feel good. There's one other part. This is kind of a darker part here, but I have a lot of clients who come to me and they think about self-harm. I would say right now, a man who has been divorced in this country is about 8 times as likely to take his own life as the average population. If you were to go to a morgue in the United States and you were to see a bunch of bodies where they took their own life, 4 out of those 5 bodies would be men.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an epidemic with men taking their own lives, and you have this large number with this bottom third of men that I said that is being ignored. If there's one thing, like, I can literally tell you, it's that I've had clients say, I was thinking about hurting myself and I stopped thinking about hurting myself because I hung out with you. I went on a group call. I've never laughed so hard in my life. By the way, we turn the recording off and we tell dirty jokes at the end of the call.
Okay.
So that's why everyone loves being on my group calls. And it's like, I've never laughed so hard being on the group call. These guys are actually like my brothers. They're really my friends. I don't think I want to hurt myself. And it's not even about getting women initially. And then once they build up a little confidence and they're like, yo, man, I've never had so many women complain about me in my entire life.
Yeah.
All my exes hate me. My mom is like, why are you posting this shit? And I'm going on dates with like 6 girls this week. And like that. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, good. And I remind my sales team of that. I'm like, you are literally saving people's lives.
Yes.
And that's, to me, that is the part that keeps me going. Plus, I have one client who's 4'11". He's 4'11". He's 4'11", and he's dating hotter girls than you. Go to my fucking testimonial page if you think I'm lying. He's 4. My sales team was like, yeah, I'm not really sure about selling this package. I'm like, he's 4'11". Bro, shut up. You have no excuse.
say less.
That's all you need to say.
Can I ask, do you ever get really hot guys that come and try and join?
Yeah.
Do you ever go, not the same for you, Bro Orton?
Yeah. No. So, ironically, you know who watches my stuff? Shout out to all these guys. All the guys from Thunder from Down Under watch my stuff. I go out with them sometimes, and now they don't buy my course, but they all watch my stuff, and they're like, "Yo, man, I love the stuff that you post." And I'm like, "Hey, man, you're a male stripper or whatever, really fucking good looking guy." He's like, "You've probably been with a lot of women." He's like, "Yeah, I've been with a shit ton of women." He goes, "Are they all sluts, the girls you've been with?" I was like, "No, half of them are like accountants who've only been with one guy in their whole life." I was like, "Okay, that's what I thought." That's why the sociosexual thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
I have a couple of guys who are male strippers who are currently in the course, and they love my course because what happens is they do the same thing. They're really good looking, but they never hit on women.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound insane when I say this. So one of my good friends is Dan Bilzerian. He lives about 4 blocks this way. And Dan and I have been friends for 11 years now. And Dan, I would hang out with him and I would hear these people tell me stories about Dan pays all these women to hang out with him. And I'd hang out with him and I'm like, yo, he's not paying any of these girls. And then I'd watch these girls like fight each other to go like to try to have sex with them. And do you know what all of them told me? Not all of them, but a lot of them told me right before they had sex with him. They said I would never have sex with Dan Bilzerian. To this day, I remember a girl from Corpus Christi or from El Paso, Texas, named Yvonne, and she's like, I would never have sex with Dan. And then I just walked in on them one time, and they were going at, or my friend walked in on him, and so I watched him. He never hit on the girls, and I was like, yo, what am I missing here? And then I just realized like he had so many girls that were around him, and he would hire these models. Then the models, their only job was to pick which girls got to go to the party and which girls didn't get to go to the party.
We heard about, we also heard, he pays all the people that he's with, and that was all the way in Australia. That's all the stories we heard about as well.
No, it's because these dudes are jealous. No, he would pay $600,000 for a fucking party. He'd pay $1 million for a party, but he wouldn't pay girls to be with him ever. He didn't have to. I would invite 100 girls to his party, and 100 girls would show up.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. It was like, yo, there's no reason for him to have to do this. So I just tried to make a very, very, very dumbed down poor man's version of what he was doing. But I also I see things a little different. Like Dan doesn't I'm not exactly I don't do exactly the way Dan does, but I saw what he was doing and I was like, yo, what if I did this with no money whatsoever and then just try to have dudes with a shit ton of female friends? What would happen? And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any big plans for 2026 moving forward with this, or just outside of your courses?
So yeah, so a couple of things. This is going to sound like nerd speak here. We want to create a mid-ticket offer. So right now I have an offer that's 27, and then I have a bunch of high-ticket offers, and I don't have a mid-ticket offer. So we're going to make an offer that's probably like $1,000 or $2,000. Yeah. And the reason why we're doing this is because I have so many great guys who live in Brazil and India who can't afford my course.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I want something that's a little bit more affordable for them so that they can join, and also so my affiliates can get paid. That's one of the things I want to do. The other thing I want to do is I want to start live streaming every week on Rumble and Kick. We don't really understand. We're trying to learn about how this whole thing works. I will tell you, on Rumble, you can do anything. On Rumble, you can do it. Like,
Never heard of Rumble.
Kick. I don't know if we have Rumble where we are, but I know Kick. You can literally get away with pretty much.
You might be
anything
Rumble might be
else.
banned in your country because of all the offensive stuff that the people say on there. But like, I like it because I can't get removed. You can't post videos on there. You can only post live streams. So I was thinking about that's probably the next thing. The other thing I'm going to do is probably for the next year, 8 or 9 times I'm going to be selling from stage. That's a new skill I'm trying to learn.
Cool.
So I go on stage, room full of 200 people, and at the end I'm like, who here wants to change their life? And then it's like, well, go to the back and talk to Tristan if you want to change your life. So I want to get better at that. So those are kind of the main 3 things that I want to change in this course. And then, like, I guess lastly, I'd like to really beef up our affiliate program so that, by the way, when you guys leave here, I'll give you both affiliate codes. If you send them to a guy and he buys the course, we'll give you like $1,000. So you should probably, like, whenever you have, when there's, so the problem is this, right? So I know a lot of girls who have OF and they're like, I'm trying to sell these guys. I'm like, I can't sell them your course because if they take your course, then they're not going to fucking buy my OF anymore.
Well, I'm a stripper, so
I mean,
that's all the customers that come in.
If you did that, you'd make a lot of money. You make it like my ex. She had more people click the code to join my program through her link than anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I plan in this next year to try to get to get better at. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds good. I mean, thank you for all of that because
Thank you.
you're definitely someone different to what we've had on our podcast, which is a lot of fun. And it's actually really cool to hear that. And like I said, we actually agree with a lot of what you're doing. So that was awesome. That was an awesome chat.
Beautiful. So we're going to take the Cybertruck back to Brisbane.
Brisbane?
Oh, I'm sorry, not Brisbane. Back to Melbourne.
Melbourne, do you know we're not legally allowed Cybertrucks in Australia?
Oh, I know you're not. You know why?
They're too sharp.
Yeah, they're too sharp. Yeah, so they're not in other countries. The pedestrians have right of way. In the United States, you need to get the fuck off the street, right?
Yeah.
And so in this country, we don't care that much, but in like other countries, like people would get hit by the car, so they won't let anybody have the car. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, no, but we loved the Cybertruck. It was cool. It was our first time being in one. We're like,
the game in the back.
Yeah, this video game. Okay, one last thing I want to explain to people. It's not that expensive. You buy a Cybertruck. They're really not they're as fast as a Ferrari, but they're not that expensive. If you get a Cybertruck, it is very clear when I got in that truck, and you guys could probably tell that Elon fucks. Like, you could tell when you got in that car that this was a car for. It's not just that it got space, but there's so many things to do in the car.
yeah.
There's a megaphone, so like when my date comes out, I'm like, come to the car right now. And the car's like talking like a robot, like an Autobot, right? Then I can push a button, and then this big screen turns into a fireplace, and it starts blowing warm air on my face. I can change the paint job of the car from the inside like anytime I want. And there's video games in the back. There's an incredible 24 system surround sound in the car. There's all kinds of games I can play in the front and the back. I can watch movies or YouTube in the front. And the thing completely self-drives. Like, it is so blatantly obvious. There's even a camp mode where I push the button and it levels the car no matter how the wheels are, and then you can set up a tent in the back and just sleep out there with oh my God. It is so obvious that this car was for guys that get laid. It's so obvious.
That shows how simple-minded I was. I was like, oh yeah, video game. Yeah. Didn't see anything else.
Like literally you would go on a date with a guy and never leave the car. Like they made the car so fun that when you go charge the car, you're just like, there's so many things to do. You don't even get out of the car. So we were going to go to dinner at some restaurant. We don't even go to the restaurant because you're having so much fun in the car. That is a car for guys to get laid. I'm sorry. That's what that is.
I love that. Well, there you go.
It's pretty true. Try to do that over the fucking stick shift of a Lambo. You'll break it. You will.
True.
It's true.
And they're not that comfortable inside anyways. Well, no, thank you.
Of course.
That was awesome.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, 100%. Even with the big pink background. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much. And I think we just got a little bit enlightened about the males the males, but all those Indians in my DMs, please continue to stay there. Don't go to his program. Go to my OS. But thanks. We'll see you next time.
That's hilarious.